Damon here with Complete Media. Today I'm standing in front of my warehouse getting things ready for the weekend. It's Thursday, so the best day to kind of get things situated because events change and all that, so getting things ready for the weekend. We have cold sparks going on this weekend, and one of the AV technicians that's working with us has not done the cold sparks, so I wanted to do this tutorial. As well, I'm going to be with them that day, but I want to have a video for their reference as well. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Inside this tub, you're going to have everything you need. This is Cold Spark Tub 1. It's going to have power cables, DMX cables, which we'll get into here in a second. Again, more power, some tape. We always have to make sure that everything is nice and neat. And then we have the cold spark fountains right here. So these are the cold spark fountains that we use. And I'm going to bring both of them out. Number 2. And just with Complete Media, what we always do is we always number all of our equipment. So if something does happen, if something breaks, then the technician can let the office know that cold spark fountain number 1, you can see right there, number 1 gave us some kind of issues, and then they'll explain what the issues are. So also inside the tub, we have, this is an Obey 6, but really we don't have anything smaller than an Obey 6. You can actually use anything that has 3 channels. So I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to get everything plugged in. Probably do some music in the background while I get everything set up. And actually, before I do that, I see the one thing in particular that's inside this tub that's very, very important. I just put some needle nose pliers in here, and the reason why I have the needle nose pliers is because regardless of the cold spark fountain that you have, chances are it has a gear, almost like a bicycle chain inside of it, that turns the gear. It turns the gear inside here, spits the sparks through the top here. And because this has particles that cause the spark, then sometimes those particles get inside of the chain. So what I always do before any event is I open up the side, and I'll bring this a little closer here so you can see it. So go ahead and open up the side here, right here. And then I just use my needle nose pliers because then I can do 2 at a time. And we just rotate counterclockwise, just to make sure that there's nothing stuck inside here. If this chain doesn't rotate, if this wheel doesn't rotate, then the sparks don't fly. You'll just get a bunch of noise. So I did it with this one. I'm going to do it with the other one. And this time I'm just going to set it down. I'm just going to go one more time just to make sure, because it was in my hand. So we just do a turn. You see how it's flowing nice and smooth there. And then we go the other way, and it's flowing nice and smooth there. And we're good to go. So this one should fire without any problem. Next, we're going to do this side. Same thing. So we're good there. And make sure you put this basically keeps dirt and particles from getting inside here, so you have to put it back when you're done. And I'm just going to put both of these the same direction. Actually, yeah, put them in the same direction, which will be backwards so you can see the plugs. Next thing I'm going to do is plug everything in. So I have my surge protector here. Plug in my Obey 6. And these are your power cons. And I really do like power cons for a couple different reasons. First, it clicks right in, so it'll never get pulled out by accident. And the other reason is because you can actually do a daisy chain style connection. So if I wanted to, instead of having to run back to a power source, let's say this fountain was right here where it is, and I had another fountain all the way on the other side, well, I can just run an out for my power con here to my in here. But since we're really close together, and please, please, please make sure that everything is turned off before you unplug it. They were both turned on. My mistake for actually plugging them in before I looked, but make sure you turn everything off. Now we have it turned on, and I'm going to bring this close if I can. You can kind of see the readout here. It's really hard to tell in the sunlight, but what we're what I'm seeing here, I believe it's going to say just basically DMX number 1. And so what we're going to do is plug this input into my controller. If you don't have Velcro on your cables, I suggest you go out immediately and get some Velcro. It's just so much better than using tape. There's no residue, and it'll of course keep your cables nice and tight. So I just connected one DMX to one of them, and you can actually see the blue light flashing right there. Again, I'll bring this closer in case you cannot see it. You can see right there. That means it's got DMX plugged in and it's receiving signal. And then we'll just run daisy chain out of fountain number 1 and put it into fountain number 2, and you'll see both of those lights start lighting up. At least that's the plan, if I did everything correctly. And as soon as I plug it into the output, then you'll see this one also start flashing. And there we go, both of them are flashing blue. That means they're receiving DMX. Now, on this board, we have the Obey 4 board, it's turned on. We're going to go into manual controls. They have a lot of auto controls here. With our Cold Spark fountains, we have them both set to DMX 001 just for ease. Whenever we need to change it for a larger event, we go ahead and do that. But for this, we'll keep it on 01. And then on the Obey 6 light controller, we're going to push this. And again, I don't know if you can see it, but the light starts lit up blue. That means we are controlling channel number 1. And then we go to manual RGB AWUV. So basically, we're controlling manually either a light fixture or, in this case, the Cold Spark fountains. So we push manual, that's going to light blue. And now when we raise this up, I don't know if you can tell, but the numbers start going up. I believe it goes up to 500. Let me undo this one and I'll show you. You can see the numbers chasing up. So if you can see, those numbers are going up. It's at 100 and something now, and it's going to keep on going up, and you're waiting for it to be ready. And when it's ready, the light will turn green here, and it'll be a high number. I believe it's 500. So you want that specifically on both fountains. And don't be concerned if the numbers are not in sequence. This one might warm up faster than this one, and it's okay. So we have to have the Cold Sparks fountains to be warm. So whenever we get set up, the first thing you do, you get everything set up, get it all taped down, and then you set it to channel 1, manual control, and then the first slider, which was actually showing color red, because it would control a LED light, but this one we're controlling the fountains. But anyway, so we bring that all the way up, and we just leave it there. We're going to do a test here in a minute, but we make sure that this always stays up here because we never know exactly when we're going to start. And so we want it to be warm and ready, basically on standby. And so now we're just waiting for this to warm up. The fountains should have a pretty good amount of the particle, the spark particle inside here. If it doesn't, if you can actually see a lot of the gears in the bottom, a lot of the metal and all that, then go ahead and fill it up. It's okay, it can sit there. They have a stop on it so that it doesn't breach down in, and if it does breach down, it'll fall to the bottom. And then we just always run the needle nose pliers to get those gears running smoothly. Do not put any oil in there at all. This does have a spark to it. It's not flammable, or it's not fire, but it could possibly either damage your equipment or cause some type of spark that we don't want, a type of flame that we don't want. So as you can see here, if you can see in the sunshine here, this one says it's ready, this one says DMX, this one says ready, and DMX. So both of these are pretty much good to go. So now all we have to do is let the spark go. So I'm going to come back behind here. I'm using the Pivo to track me, so that way I can always stay in frame. So I'm going to stay in frame here, and we're going to have the sparks go right about now. And that is your Cold Sparks. That is how you do it. So we'll just set this up one more time. So again, that is your Cold Spark fountain. We're getting a lot of looks here in my complex, but that's okay. I realized what I forgot to do, and so I'm going to go back really fast and just show you on our controller here. Let's see, it's untangled a little bit. Okay, so we have our Obey 6 controller, and I have the first channel all the way up, warming up the fountains, as I mentioned before. When we want to actually have the sparks come out, all we do is go to channel 2. And the higher the fader, the higher the sparks. If you have a room that's over 12, 15 feet, then you can go all the way up, because I believe these sparks can reach 10 feet. And then you're good to go. So right now I have fader number 1 all the way up. You can see both of these say ready. And now all I'm going to do is raise up fader number 2. Let me get the frame a little bit more. Slide fader number 2 up, and you can see the sparks go. Slide fader number 2 down a little bit. You can see it slowly gets shorter, smaller, 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 until we have nothing. And we have nothing. Don't put this close to people, because it is warm and people get scared and think that they're on fire. It's warm to the touch, it's not hot. But then also you're going to have particles all over whatever. So don't put it near food, don't put it near people. Just keep it in an area that you can, like for a grand introduction, or we do it for MMA events when we have the fighters come out or something like that. So we have it on each side, shoot straight up. Yeah, they'll get a little particle on them, but it's okay. But if you're, like I said, putting it near food, then you have all of this basically dust inside the food. So again, fader number 1, it's all the way up, it stays here. So if I want to do cold sparks again, let's say the bride and groom did their grand introduction, and boom, we had the sparks go up. Boom, sparks. And then the bride and groom have their first dance, and there's a part in their first dance where the groom dips the bride. So then we want to, again, keep this up, because we never move this down, number 1. Then we take number 2, we fade it up again. Boom, he dips her. Everybody's cheering. Oh my God, look at this, that's so cool. And then back down again. And then let's say they're doing a grand exit in the same area, or we reposition or whatever. Keep this up so that it's always staying warm. You can see this is always staying ready. And then next event that would want to be highlighted with some sparks, then you spark it up again. Boom, hey, we're sparking up again. Done, good to go. And then we go ahead and bring it down. And we call it, call it a day. So that's how you set up and operate the cold sparks. I'm Damon with Complete Media. If you have any questions, my information will be down below in the description. Thanks for checking out this video, and let's get, I was gonna say let's get sparking. Why not? Let's get sparking.
I'm Damon with, and that is how you do the cold sparks. I'm Damon with Complete Media. Thanks for checking out the video. Hopefully you have some cold sparks at your event and it turns out flawless. Alright, my point. So I'm Damon with Complete Media. Thanks for checking out this video. If you have cold sparks at your event, I hope everything is flawless.
And let's just like this.